So you just started playing Mistfall Hunter and you're looking for a beginner mercenary guide. You come to the right place. I am going to explain to you what I believe to be the best talents, skills, and the best affixes that you can use coming from Sigrid from the Victory Wine Merchant. And all of this is going to be very, very important into making your kit. So with that said, let's go ahead and get started with the skills first. For our sword and shield, which is what I am going to be focusing on, there is hammer gameplay as well. However, I personally prefer the sword and shield playstyle, and I think for a beginner, I think it's easier to get a handle of, and hammer might be a little bit more complicated. So for this guide, I'm going to stick with sword and shield. I am going to recommend shield dash, which gives you a dash, and you do block while dashing as well, which makes it a really nice utility for both gap closing and blocking projectiles. The Stonebreaker Slash is great because it gives you an option to perfect parry a enemy, and the perfect parry is going to stagger them, and with our talents that I'm going to share with you, have really good utility, including very high damage, and a special ability to work with the special recovery mechanic that if you're not aware of, I'll also explain here in a minute. For the talents, I'm going to recommend Resilient Body. If you're not aware of what Indomitable Will is, this is going to give you 2.5% physical damage reduction for each stack of Indomitable Will. And with this, it's going to stack up to 10 times. So this perk alone is going to give you 25% physical damage reduction. Absolutely massive, especially when you consider when it's only one of your 8 talent slots. Opportunist works extremely well when in combination with Resilient Body. The reason for this is that it allows you to move while blocking at an increased movement speed equal to your running speed or just about your running speed. So with Resilient Body, as long as you're holding block, you will continue to gain stacks of Indomitable Will at the same time of having the ability to run while blocking. You see where I'm getting at, right? If you have both of these talents, you can move through the dungeon at full speed while keeping 25% extra physical damage reduction. Very, very strong stuff. I'm also going to recommend Sword Edge, Stacking Blade, and Stack Thrust. All of these are going to work with a skill called Blade Edge. Blade Edge is when you attack at an enemy with your left click, you gain Blade Edge status, which allows you to hold left click and release Impalement, which gives you this little dash attack. These talents are going to make that Blade Edge significantly stronger. Sword Edge is going to allow all sword attacks, not just left click, to accumulate and stack the hit count for Blade Edge. Stacking Blade is going to reduce the hit count required from 5 to 4, and Stack Thrust is going to allow you to have Enhanced Impalement, where you can stack the Blade Edge twice, and on the second go around, you're going to get more damage, more range, and super armor. And if you don't know, super armor allows you to be immune to stagger effects. So if someone hits you during super armor, it's not going to do anything to you as far as stagger goes. You'll still take damage, but you're not going to be able to get knocked out of the attack, which is really, really strong in this game. I'm also going to recommend Rising to the Challenge. This is going to mean that after you block with Shield Dash, you're going to daze enemy players that are hit by this skill. Very strong because dazing means that an enemy cannot move or attack. This is going to give you a few free hits, and 100% is easily worth the talent point. For your Stonebreak, I'm going to recommend Stonebreaker Counter and Feral Attack. Stonebreak Counter means that after you perfect block just means when you first use your Stonebreaker Slash on the ground, you're going to get a kind of a yellow glow. And if you have the yellow glow up in front of you when an enemy attacks you, they're going to get staggered, and it's going to give you super armor during your skill. And it's also going to give you increased skill damage, which is pretty strong in its own right. But we can do even better with Feral Attack, which means that during our special recovery window, it's going to allow us to use this attack instead of using our dodge. If you're not aware of what special recovery window is, it means when you take 2 or more attacks from another player, you're going to be able to left shift or dodge out of the way for free with no stamina cost. If you didn't know that, hopefully you know now. So with that in mind, instead of doing a dash away for free, you know what's even better than that is using an attack that can completely swing the fight in your favor by staggering the enemy player, getting a parry, and then doing a bunch of damage. So I really like this as kind of the panic button where someone's button mashing you, you keep getting staggered, you use this ability. It might take a lot of base energy, but it's 100% worth the swing of momentum to get them off of you and to try to start getting some damage in. Now I want to talk about Victory Wine and affixes. First of all, if you don't know, if you look at your gear, it will tell you what affixes you currently have. You get one affix for greens, two affixes for blue, etc., for higher gear values. For this helmet, for example, I have Aegis and Iron Helmet, and it does tell you on the left-hand side what each thing does. For example, Aegis gives us 20 defense. Now here is where things get tricky. Last playtest, Aegis gave 50 defense. Now it only gives 20. The question is 20 defense worth a affix slot versus where it was before, which is 50? Truth be told, I really don't know. However, looking at the affixes, I can still kind of have a general idea of what may or may not be strong. In my opinion, Valor is probably always strong because it gives you extra attack damage. And let's be honest here, attack damage should always be strong. Vitality is good because maximum energy, which is your main source for doing attacks, I feel like that's always good to have. Plus, if you get to the bottom of the vitality tree, you're immune to your current exhausted, meaning you get a little bit more wiggle room when you run out of your exhausted for the first time, which is pretty nice. Bulwark is basically BIS for Mercenary. There is no better victory wine to get than max level Bulwark. This is because it increases your block reduction rate to 30% at max level, and it reduces the energy cost at max by 12%. Currently, a shield blocks for 70%. You know what this means? It means that if you get maximum bulwark, you're blocking for 100% damage. So if you block, you take 0 damage. Stoic is also another strong one because when you reach under 50% HP, if you get to the bottom of the tree, you recover 20% HP. So it's an immediate 20% heal. That's pretty darn strong for a affix, in my opinion. Just any healing in general is always going to be good. Not to mention, it also increases your physical damage resistance, which is pretty good as well. Now, outside of Bulwark, Stoic, Valor, Vitality, of course, there's probably going to be other ones that you could take that could be good. But I'm going to be real with you. When you're leveling up to level 12, which is the current max level, you're really not going to be building a lot of affixes. And especially, you're not going to be going to the bottom of the trees for very much because the most important thing when leveling is going to be just getting your talents from levels. You're not really going to be worrying about what gear you're wearing or what specific affixes you have. If you're able to get any of these affixes, that's great. And you're just going to have an easier time in dungeon. If you can't, don't sweat it. Just wear what you can. You know, you can see here my gear is kind of just all over the place. And then for your wine, choose one of those things. For me personally, I like Bulwark and either Valor, Vitality, or Stoic. I think any of them is a fine option. Bulwark plus Valor kind of feels good for damage, but Vitality plus Bulwark also feels pretty good. And as you go, if you do level up your tonic, you do get to activate even more affixes at one time, up to 8 if you get the highest brew. You're going to be nowhere near this. It's going to take a lot of grinding to get there. But the level 2 is pretty reachable, and then you can have 4 and just take all of the 4 affixes that I recommended to you. That's going to be everything that I wanted to cover for my beginner mercenary guide. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, like the video, helps the channel, and I do appreciate that. Hopefully you enjoy the PvP that I had while leveling up, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace. Hammer better than, or Sword and Shield better than Hammer, huh? Wait, there's just a guy coming up here. Gotcha. GG, Seer. Everybody's been telling me Seer is really, really strong right now, too. Merc, better than Seer. See? I told you guys. I told you. Wow. GG. That was pretty solid. GG. Wait, oh. Ow. Oh, shoot. Hammer actually kind of scary. I think that was 100% a misplay on my part. I think I should never have gotten that low, but I just made a mistake. But very close. Almost. GG. That was a fun fight. That was actually a little bit close. GG. GG. I have not... is that the first sorcerer I found? That might be the first sorcerer I've seen. Wait, what is happening? I can't... But I can't block or anything.
Hey! Want to get out? I can help. Hey! Want to get out? Hey! Want to get out? I can help. Hey! Want to get out? I can help.
Oh my god, what a sweaty ranger player. Oh, that was close. GG. Alright. I wonder if that's the Shadow Strix that I fought earlier. Could be.